Hello, this is Business Now, visiting you live from iBrandTV News Studio in Lagos, Nigeria. First, the headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari expected to sign the 2022 budget into law. Auditor General of the Federation uncovers 48.4 billion naira extra budgetary spending by Agri Ministry. Bitcoin dropped 6.13% to $47,606.92 on Tuesday, losing from $33,111.19 from its previous close. More than 3 years after the Lion Air disaster occurred, Boeing Indonesia lived on the Boeing 737 MAX. Glad to have you join us here. Here are some stories making headlines. I am Margaret Opara. And all things being equal, Buhari is expected to sign the 2022 budget into law on Friday. President Muhammadu Buhari has received the 2022 appropriation bill passed by the two chambers of the National Assembly last week. The House of Representatives had passed the bill on December 21, while the Senate passed it December 22, raising the total estimate from the proposed 16.391 trillion naira to 17.166 trillion naira. The oil benchmark was raised from the proposed 57% per barrel to $62 per barrel. The breakdown of the budget includes 869 billion naira for statutory allocation, 3.8 trillion naira for debt servicing, 6.9 trillion naira and 5.4 trillion for recurrent and capital expenditure, respectively. The 2022 appropriation bill was transmitted to the President last Friday by Clerk of the National Assembly, Ojo Amos, and it was acknowledged by the Office of the Chief of Staff to the President on Saturday. The Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission on Tuesday said it was set to close out the 2020 marginal field bid round program. It said the NUPRC had put in place all necessary machinery to progress the bid round exercise to conclusion in line with the Petroleum Industry Act 2021. The Chief Executive Officer of the Commission, Benga Komolafe, in a notice to participants of the program on Tuesday, indicated that an in-house work team had already been constituted to deal with outstanding issues. He said the issues include the steering and addressing the concerns of awardees with a view to closing out matters affecting multiple awardees per asset and formation of special purpose vehicles by awardees in line with respective letters of award. Komolafe, in a statement issued by the Commission, enjoined awardees with the indicated issues to avail themselves of the resolution mechanism provided by the NUPRC in the overriding national interest. And more stories, Nigerians have continued to abandon check transactions as point of sale transactions rise to 13.67 trillion naira in 3 years, according to data obtained from the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System PLC portal. The data shows that the aggregate POS transactions between January 2019 and November 2021 were 13.67 trillion naira, while total check transactions within the same period was 10.67 trillion naira. In its instant payments 2020 annual statistics, the NIBSS said the COVID-19 pandemic changed the e-payment landscape, accelerating the adoption of instant payments as more people transition to electronic channels for fund exchange in the wake of government-imposed lockdowns. End of quote. In 2019, the value of check transactions in the nation was 4.48 trillion naira, while the value of POS transactions totaled 3.21 trillion naira. By 2020, the check transactions dropped to 3.27 trillion naira, while the value of POS transactions rose to 4.73 trillion naira. The House of Rep is to investigate the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development over extra budgetary spending worth 48.426 billion naira. The details were contained in an audit query issued by the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation, OAUGF, submitted to the House of Committee on Public Account for further legislative actions. The lawmakers on resumption from the Christmas and New Year recess are expected to investigate the ministry over the non-payment of eligible contractors despite the release of 98 billion naira in the 2018 Appropriation Act. The OAUGF observed that the ministry incurred extra budgetary contractual liability totaling 48 billion naira. And moving on, the Central Bank of Nigeria has said it disbursed 108.65 billion naira to hospitals and pharmaceutical industries in 18 months. A CBN report said this was disclosed at the last Monetary Policy Committee meeting. It said the bank had also cumulatively disbursed the sum of 108.65 billion naira to hospitals and pharmaceutical industries, 54 of the 111 projects funded as for hospital services. The committee was gratified that the funding under the health sector has resulted in the establishment of 2 new cancer centers, over 59 MRI and more than 42 CT scan centers in Nigeria within the last 18 months. The CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, had recently said that medical tourism was putting a huge strain on the country's foreign reserves. And more stories, the Nigerian exchange NGX will today list the reconstructed and re-denominated shares of the NEM Insurance PLC on the main board of the exchange. The relisting of shares comes after the insurance company completed a reconstruction program under which its ordinary shares were re-denominated from a nominal value of 50 kobo per share to a nominal value of 1 naira per share. Under the construction exercise, shareholders of NEM Insurance exchanged 2 ordinary shares of 50 kobo each after 1 ordinary share of 1 naira each. The listing of the reconstructed shares will automatically lift the suspension placed on trading on the shares of the insurance company to enable seamless conclusion of the reconstruction exercise. The Federal Capital Territory Minister Malam Mohammed Musa Bello had promised the needed support for the next cash and carry shopping mall in order to ensure its restoration from the fire incident that engulfed it on Boxing Day. The minister made these remarks yesterday while conducting an on-spot assessment of the mall. He said the fire incident at the place was something that jolted the city, given that it was an important investment which provided jobs for many. Bello described Next as one of the companies that provided tremendous support to the FCTA during the lockdown in form of palliative items which were distributed to vulnerable members of the community. He expressed delight that no life was lost and substantial parts of the premises where both items were stored in the warehouses was also saved. Governor of Ondo State, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, SAN, has approved a sum of 515 million naira for the payment of the 2022 West Africa Secondary School Certificate Examination (WASC) registration fees for SS3 students in all public secondary schools in the state. This was contained in a statement made available to journalists yesterday by the State Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Mr. Olufemi Agagu. Agago said the State Ministry of Education, Science and Technology received Akeredolu's approval, noting that the fund will cover registration fees for all eligible candidates and WAEC charges for all public secondary schools across the state. He described the gesture as historic and thanked the governor for his magnanimity. Away from that, the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, CPPE, has advised the Central Bank of Nigeria to review its ban on some of the 40 items which the regulator has stopped importers from accessing foreign exchange to bring to the country. The organization also faulted a plan by the Nigerian Customs Service to reintroduce excise duty on production of soft drinks in the country, describing it as ill-timed, insensitive and most inappropriate given the prevailing harsh economic and business conditions. The center, led by Dr. Muda Yusuf, its chief executive officer, disclosed this in its Economic and Business Environment Review for 2021 and Agenda for 2022 released recently. According to the CPPE, there is a need for the CBN to engage stakeholders as its current forex policy regime is negatively affecting investors, manufacturers and other stakeholders. So in more business news, an expert has pointed out the need for Nigeria to harness the huge potential in its tourism sector. Speaking with iBrandTV, the managing director of Igokosi Warm Spring, Ayo Ademulu, noted the Nigerian government has given more attention to oil, as it has adversely hampered taking advantage of the avalanche of potential in tourism.
Tourism in Nigeria generally is underdeveloped. That's just the straight fact. You see, we have concentrated too much on oil. If we had announced the possibilities of tourism, potentials of tourism, Dubai will be running after Nigeria. Look at Ikogosi One Spring. Fine, you might have some warm springs here and there, but where do you see a warm spring flowing side by side a cold spring, and they are meeting? Where they are meeting, their identities are very different from each other, yet they are flowing on the same soil. You understand what I'm saying now? They are flowing side by side. I don't think it's up to 10 meters apart at a point, like 10 meters apart from each other, and yet they have different warmth, temperature. So, if we had developed this in Nigeria, if we had made the environment very attractive, we try on our own, try to make the environment of Ikogosi One Spring as natural as it could be, so that ecotourism will be there, apart from the sightseeing of the water. So we have so many others in the country, like the Wiki Resort, whatever, like the Olumo Rock, like Idore Hills, and things like that. But these sites are not developed because we still have, like, I said something one day, a boy laughed. I said maybe another 40, 50 years, the air will dry up. I said, thank God, I would not be here anymore. I will have gone. But when the air dries up, what are they going to fall on? Tourism. But we are not developing it. We have not developed it. But the trend I see that is so encouraging is trying to privatize the tourism sites, because government has no business in business. When you give out in concession, like the government of Ekiti State has just recently done about the Ikogosi One Spring Resort, you see a tremendous development in tourism.
Still to come, oil prices climb again as U.S. inventories fall. The news and more after this breather. Glad to have you back. And now on the African scene, the Tunisian government on Tuesday, December 28, revealed plans to borrow $7 billion more from foreign lenders and domestic sources to stimulate the country's economy next year. According to the Tunisian finance minister, the 2022 finance law boosts spending by over 3% year-on-year to $19.8 billion. This will bring the government's debt to 82.6% of GDP. Tunisia has suffered years of economic woes due to COVID-19, with high inflation and unemployment at around 18%. Foreign debt in 2021 hit 100% of GDP. Kenya Power has written off 15 billion shillings in bad debts from unpaid electricity bills, most of which have been outstanding for more than 3 months. This has seen the utility company impair 15 billion shillings after 29.6 billion shillings unpaid electricity bills as at June 2021, according to the company annual report. Kenya Power says it's only confident of collecting half of its pending power bills that are uncollected by up to 3 months. But it has lost hope of recovering 14.5 billion shillings that is overdue for more than 3 months, forcing it to make provision for 13.7 billion shillings of the outstanding power bills, fearing they may not be collected. And on the foreign business news, oil prices edged higher on Wednesday after rallying overnight as industry data showed a decline in U.S. inventories, boosting demand sentiment. Brent crude rose 26% or 0.3% at $79.20 a barrel by 7:59 GMT. U.S. West Texas Intermediate WTI crude climbed 19 cents or 0.2% to $76.17 a barrel. Both contracts are trading near their highest levels in a month, aided by the strength in global equities. Asset classes from oil to equities have clawed back losses from late November when the Omicron variant of COVID-19 sent investors scurrying for safety. Bitcoin dropped 6.13% to 47,602.92 on Tuesday, losing $3,111.19 from its previous close. Bitcoin, the world's highest and best-known cryptocurrency, is down 31% from the year's high $69,000 on November 10. Ether, the coin linked to the Ethereum blockchain network, dropped 5.57% to $3,802.6 on Tuesday, losing $224.8 from its previous close. Boeing Indonesia has lifted a ban on the Boeing 737 MAX more than 3 years after the Lion Air disaster that saw the loss of all 189 people on board. The plane maker saw its best-selling aircraft grounded globally after a deadly clash in March 2019 involving an Ethiopian Airlines 737 MAX. On Monday, Ethiopian Airlines said it will resume such flights in February. The announcement came months after the aircraft returned to service in the US and Europe, and more than 180 countries will allow the use of 737 MAX, with Australia, Japan, India, Malaysia, and Singapore lifting their bans this year. Coming up next is Entertainment Business with Michelle.
Hello and welcome to Entertainment Business News. I am Michelle Abanu. Following his divorce, Dr. Dre has agreed to pay $100 million to Nicole, $50 million now, and the balance in a year. In exchange for this deal, Dre got to keep 7 of their properties, including a Malibu home, 2 homes in Calabasas, and properties in the LA area, including the $100 million Brentwood estate. The billionaire rapper and music executive also got to keep all of their Apple stocks, which includes the proceeds from the sale of Beats by Dre. While Nicole got jewelry, cash, and bank accounts that she maintained during the marriage. Nicole filed for divorce from the millionaire rapper back in 2020. She cited irreconcilable differences as the reason for their split. Since the split, they have been at loggerheads of financings and prenup. In July, a court ordered the ex-millionaire to pay his ex-wife, Young, $300,000 in a spousal support monthly. The Los Angeles-based video game giant behind League of Legends is said to pay out $100 million to settle a lawsuit pending court approval. The $100 million settlement from Riot Games, a subsidiary of Chinese conglomerate Tencent, is 10 times the previously announced $10 million figure that California officials successfully fought in court. Under the terms of the settlement agreement, Riot will pay $80 million to the class, which encompasses all current and former full-time employees and temporary agency contractors in California who identify as women and worked anytime from November 2014 to present, the company Tuesday. The additional $20 million is said to be reserved for attorneys' fees and miscellaneous expenses. The settlement, if approved, marks the resolution of a gender discrimination lawsuit that began over 3 years ago. And that's it on Entertainment Business News. I am Michelle Abanum.
Coming up now is Sports Business with Samson.
Most people don't understand the magic of a perfect skin, the allure of a well-pampered skin. We bounce from skincare products to skincare products, from spa to spa. Looking for that ideal solution. I found the solution. And it's Blemiviv Skincare and Spa. My name is Neil, and I'm proud to be a part of the Blemiviv family.
Mama, you're coming to Lagos. Banga. Baby, Mama just called me now. She's coming to see you. She asked me to tell you to make banga soup for her. And she's close to the house. Oh.
How do you expect me to prepare banga in just few minutes?
I have a solution for you.
Really?
If you no sabi cook the banga, no go enter my family.
Pali banga is used in making other exotic dishes such as banga jollof rice, banga eforiro, banga asaro or yam porridge, banga egusi, and many more. Pali banga is easy to open, no preservatives, no cholesterol, and no coloring. Approved by NAFDAC. Manufactured by Pali Agro Products Limited. Available in all leading stores and supermarkets nationwide.
Pali banga, natural palm fruit extracts for tasty African cuisine.
You go enter market, just make you go buy fresh palm fruits. When you reach house, you go wash, you go pound, your body go dey pain you, even your fingernails go dey pain you. But make una no worry, make una relax. I get good news for una. Una don hear of banga fresh palm fruit extract. All you need to do na make you go for the up, open am. Take the amount wey you want, put am for your pot. Which soup you wan make? Shey na egusi, shey na ogbono, shey na vegetable, shey na banga. My sister no waste time again. My brother no waste time again. Just go buy banga fresh palm fruit extract. They go know say you sabi cook and you be better cook.
Banga, come make your food yummy.
Distributors needed nationwide. Phone number 081-6397-4447, 080-3564-4436, 070-6663-8213. Banga Fresh Palm Fruit Extract.
The Tokyo Olympics cost organizers an estimated $13.6 billion, which is $1.8 billion below a prior prediction of $15.4 billion. Much of the reduction was due to lower staffing levels as no fans were permitted to attend. However, that same restriction cost the Olympics $800 million in ticket sales. The Tokyo Organizing Committee predicted a total cost of $6.4 billion when first making its bid for the Games in 2013. Those costs ballooned due to construction and the decision to postpone the event for 1 year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Japanese sponsors invested around $3 billion, and some have reportedly complained that they saw little to no return on their investment. The International Olympic Committee, which profits off broadcast rights and sponsorships, contributed $800 million, while an additional $500 million came from Olympic partners. The organizing committee paid around $5.9 billion to host the Games, which is roughly equal to total revenue, with the Japanese government and Tokyo Metropolitan government covering costs related to safety measures introduced during the pandemic. Organizers have disclosed that final figures would not be available until spring 2022 due to ongoing work on venues and certain contracts that needs to be finalized. The Tokyo Games were previously estimated to top London's $15 billion spent in 2012 as the most expensive Olympics ever. And still talking sports business, FIFA is making changes that will take a major chunk out of agents' earnings. Football's governing body intends to limit agent commissions to 3% of player salaries and 10% of transfer fees. FIFA said that agents scored $500 million from transfer fees this year, a slight increase from 2020's $497 million, which is despite... Let me take that this thing again. Second story. Let me start from second story. Okay. And still talking sports business, FIFA is making changes that will take a major chunk out of agents' earnings. Football's governing body intends to limit agent commissions to 3% of player salaries and 10% of transfer fees. FIFA said that agents scored $500 million from transfer fees this year, a slight increase from 2020's $497 million sum, despite total international transfers dropping from $5.2 billion in 2020 to $4.3 billion in 2021. In one unspecified incident, an agent earned 118% of the transfer fee paid by a German club to a French one. FIFA President Gianni Infantino said that training clubs earned around 1% of global transfer spending in 2019, while agents took home 10%. FIFA also said that in 48 instances, both teams and players involved in transfer paid a representative. On deals under $500,000, the median agent fee was 18.8% of the total. Top agents have threatened to take legal action if FIFA goes ahead with a plan. And now to the Super Bowl. Cryptocurrency exchanges are buying up ad time for the Super Bowl 2022. Sorry, scroll down a bit. And now to the Super Bowl. Cryptocurrency exchanges are buying up ad time for the Super Bowl 2022. Crypto.com recently purchased the Super Bowl ad from NBC, which will air the game. Fellow cryptocurrency exchange FTX purchased an ad for the February 13 broadcast earlier this year. NBC is reportedly charging as much as $6.5 million for a 30-second spot, up from $5.5 million CBS commanded for commercials during last February's broadcast. Crypto.com has made sports a major avenue for elevating its brand. In November, the company took over naming rights of the Los Angeles Lakers, Clippers, and Kings Home Arena in a 20-year deal worth $700 million. In July, Crypto.com inked a 10-year deal with UFC worth $175 million, while in June, it signed a 5-year pact with Formula One worth $100 million. It has also partnered with Angel City Football Club, Serie A, Paris Saint-Germain, and the Montreal Canadiens in hockey. Crypto's new battleground FTX has kept pace, scoring the naming rights to the Miami Heat's arena in a 19-year deal worth $135 million, as well as the field at California Memorial Stadium for 10 years worth $17.5 million. And that's it on Sports Business. I'm Samson Oleide.
And that's wrap on news now at this hour. For more stories, please visit our website, follow all our social media platforms, and be well to tune in to StarTime Channel 143 for more news updates and interesting programs. My name is Margaret Oba. Thanks for watching.